A year ago today was the darkest day in Jewish history since the Holocaust. On October 7th, 2023, over 1,200 men, women, children, and the elderly were brutally and mercilessly murdered, while over 250 people were taken hostage when Hamas terrorists and Palestinian civilians breached Israel's borders, violently attacking dozens of communities in the south. The horrors of that day have reshaped our collective existence, physically, spiritually, and emotionally. Our hearts remain captive in Gaza, along with our people held hostage for the last 365 days in inhumane conditions. I'm Mayan Hoffman, editor-in-chief of ILTV, and on behalf of Israel Bonds and ILTV, thank you for joining our memorial event on this solemn day. We begin with a moment of silence for all the lives taken on that dark day and over the last 12 months. Zichronam livracha, may their memories forever be a blessing. During the next hour, we will hear valiant stories, honor the precious lives massacred on that horrific day, and come together to commend those who have relentlessly defended Israel's security and freedom over the past 12 months. More than anything, this broadcast is a testament to our people's resilience and unity, sending a powerful message to the world. We stand united, and we will do our part to ensure that another October 7th will never happen again. We will start with Israel's national anthem. Joining us from his Tel Aviv studio is Israeli singer and composer David Deor with a moving rendition of Hatikva.
Thank you, Mayan. It's an honor to participate in the ILTV News and Israel Bonds October 7 events and to sing our nation's song of hope during a time when hope feels so hard to find. כל עוד בלבב פנימה נפש יהודי הומיה ולפתי מזרח קדימה עין לציון צופיה עוד לא אבדה תקוותנו התקווה בת שנות 2000 להיות עם חופשי בארצנו ארץ ציון וירושלים להיות עם חופשי בארצנו ארץ ציון וירושלים.
Hatikva is always inspiring, but especially today. Thank you, David. Now, I would like to proudly introduce the President of the State of Israel, Mr. Isaac Herzog, who will share heartfelt remarks on behalf of the State of Israel.
We come together now to mark 1 year to the most brutal massacre of Jews since the Holocaust. 1 year of mourning those we have lost, of fighting to defend our homeland, and of a determined struggle to bring our hostages back home. Yet, alongside the great darkness of this past year, we must acknowledge that there have also been rays of light, the courage of our soldiers, the resilience of our society, and the love and solidarity that we have felt from friends and allies and Jews from all over the world. This solidarity found expression not just in words, but in countless concrete initiatives. Of course, the deep bonds between the State of Israel and the global Jewish community are mutual. Just as you stand with us, we stand with you, especially at these dire times of anti-Semitism all over. As Israel's first Prime Minister David Ben-Gurion said, the bond between the State of Israel and world Jewry is not a bond of need and utility, but a bond of destiny and fate. And it is no surprise, therefore, that Israel Bonds, which grew out of his vision, has played such a central role in preserving and deepening the ties between the Jewish state and the global Jewish community since 1951. It has also been a central force in building and cultivating Israel, helping it grow again and again against all odds. Over the past year, Israel Bonds sold nearly $3.5 billion worth of bonds worldwide, a record figure and more than 3 times the average annual global sales in previous years. This is a great message. The message is powerful and clear. October 7th did not weaken the bonds between us, nor did it dampen our determination to continue to rebuild and overcome. I want to take this opportunity to thank Israel Bonds President and CEO, my good dear friend Danny Nave, and Israel Bonds National and International Chairman of the Board, Andrew M. Hutter. Together, we can build a safe, peaceful, and thriving future for Israel and the Jewish people. Thank you all very much. Toda Rabah to all of you. May I congratulate you on a beautiful new Jewish New Year. Happy Rosh Hashanah, a better year. And may we all of us, see the hostages come back home and see peace return to our land. Am Yisrael Chai.
My name is Emily Schrader, and today we have the immense honor of speaking with Micah Levy, the brother of Or Levy, who was tragically taken hostage by Hamas during the brutal attack at the Nova Music Festival on October 7th. Or is a father to 3-year-old Almog and husband to Einav, who was also tragically murdered at the Nova Festival. Over the past 365 days, Michael has been fighting to bring Or home while raising awareness about the plight of the men, women, and children still held today in Gaza. His story is not only a personal one, but a testament to the bond between brothers. Michael, I want to thank you so much for joining us today. If we could start by you sharing a little bit about Or. What do you miss most about him in these days?
Mostly miss the little things, the things that you take for granted. You know, picking up the phone and talking to him about day-to-day stuff, crying about our lousy basketball team, or going to ball games together. Sitting at our parents' house in a Friday dinner, you know, things that you tend to take for granted when they are here, and when they are not, you miss them the most.
Now, Or was kidnapped from the Nova Music Festival, where we know, tragically, Einav was also killed. What prompted you to go look through all of this footage in the immediate aftermath, and how did the family respond to this initial tragic news?
It was a huge shock at first. It took us a few days to understand what happened. I pretty much started looking at the footage and the videos that were out since Sunday, or since the 8th. We had to understand where it was. Now we know it was the most famous bomb shelter, but then back then I didn't even know where it was. So we had to discover everything, including identifying car license plates, talking to people, trying to figure out what happened, because they were missing for a few days.
Now, obviously, this has been a traumatic experience for the whole family. What is it that keeps you going on days when the pain seems unbearable?
The fact that you know that you have a nephew or as a son that needs his father. I know it is difficult. Sometimes it's not easy to wake up and keep going, but I know I have a mission. I promised my parents to bring him back, and I promised myself and my girls to bring their uncle back, and I just can't stop until he is back.
Now, you personally have been on a mission to raise awareness, of course, for Or's situation in Hamas captivity, but also for all of the hostages. And you've emphasized many times that this is not just an Israeli issue, but an international one as well. How has the international community responded to this issue? And how has the Israeli community received the news of what's been happening in the past 365 days?
As everyone probably knows, the Israeli community is amazing. You know, one of the few good things that happened out of October 7th is this, people that unite, that people that left everything behind and just doing everything they can in order to help us and the entire community. The international community is also very supportive. I mean, at least the people that I've met, they are very supportive. They show solidarity. They don't always do enough, I guess, because we all can do more, including myself. But they are sympathetic. They do understand that what we have here is something that can happen all across the world, and this is the main message I try to show the international community.
Now, how has Or's son, Almog, how has he responded to all of this tragedy and not having his parents around in the past year?
I think that's the most difficult thing, dealing with the day-to-day stuff. Almog wants his parents back. Unfortunately, we cannot bring enough back, but his father is still alive. He misses him every day, but at the same time, he is starting to forget. Now, when we show him pictures of Or, he sometimes thinks it's me. He calls my other brother Dad because he's with him all the time. So those little things are things that, that's something that you don't even think about until you have to deal with it.
Now, if Or could hear you right now, what is the message that you would like him to hear?
I just want him to know that we are strong, we are keeping Almog safe and happy, and we will do everything we can to bring him back. We won't stop until he is back.
Thank you so much for sharing with us, Michael, and thank you for all the work that you're doing to bring Or and all the hostages home. We are all praying and hoping for his safe return as soon as possible.
Thank you.
Under Danny Nevez's leadership, Israel Bonds has not only continued its mission of supporting the economic strength and prosperity of Israel, but is also meeting the challenges our generation faces. 1 year after the tragic events of October 7th, Danny is here to share how Israel Bonds has rallied global support for Israel. Its new Invest in Life campaign is a powerful initiative that calls on supporters worldwide to make a meaningful investment in Israel's future. Danny, thank you for joining us today.
Thank you for having me.
October 7th, 2023 marked a dark day for Israel and the Jewish people. What does this day personally represent to you and to Israel Bonds as an organization, and how has it shaped the past year?
Yes, a year has passed, and we still struggle to comprehend the unimaginable atrocities committed on that day. And we ache for the hostages still held in Gaza. We ache for the families of the brave soldiers who sacrificed their life. What a heavy price to pay, losing a husband, a son, a father. We ache for the injured soldiers who fought with valor and would bear the scars of this war for the rest of their life. And as regard to Israel Bonds, I can tell you that for 7 decades, Israel Bonds' mission was to secure funds for the State of Israel. And we have raised more than $52 billion during the years, ushering Israel into a vibrant startup nation. But since October 7th, our mission has felt more vital, more urgent, more emotional. And October 7th has galvanized Israel Bonds supporters around the world like never before.
How did Israel Bonds respond in the immediate aftermath of the attack, and what impact has that had?
On that heinous day, we initiated a special campaign to support Israel. And I'm grateful and proud to share with you that since the war broke out, we have raised more than $3.6 billion, record-breaking numbers, really 3 times our average annual sales. And these funds have been an essential lifeline in ensuring Israel's economy resilience.
What has been the most moving part of this journey for you personally, if I may ask?
Probably meeting investors from all walks of life has been incredibly moving, from bar mitzvah and bat mitzvah students, bank CEOs, local governments, treasurers, and individuals investors. And the overwhelming desire to make an impact in Israel's time of need is inspiring. And this collective commitment has shown me that in the face of adversity, the support for Israel is still very strong.
Thank you, Danny. Looking forward, what message would you like to leave with those watching us today?
I think it's very important to emphasize that Israel has achieved significant victories against its enemies, as we have seen more and more recently. And although the heavy toll, the Israeli spirit is unbreakable. And if you ask me, what is the explanation for that? I will tell you that people understand that this is not just a war between Israel and terrorist organizations like Hamas and Hezbollah. This is a war on the right of the Jewish people to exist. This is a war against the enemies of the Jewish people. But it's not over yet. We still have our mission to support the state of Israel that still needs us.
Danny Naveh, thank you so much.
Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Naveh. The memory of that Saturday and the hostages still in Gaza are a daily reminder that we must act. We cannot and will not simply move on, nor should we. Over the past year, the IDF has been relentless in its effort to win this war, bring our hostages back, secure Israel's border, protect our people, and rebuild Israel's sense of safety in the face of unprecedented challenges. Joining us today is Major General Eyal Zamir, Director General of the Ministry of Defense, who has dedicated his life to the security and resilience of our nation. Throughout his distinguished military career and in his current role, Major General Zamir's leadership and deep understanding of national defense have been instrumental. Please join me in welcoming Major General Eyal Zamir.
Shalom to all our friends and supporters of Israel Bonds. I am honored to offer my gratitude for the courage we gain from our global Jewish community. Israel faces multiple threats and is currently fighting on 7 fronts, near and far. Our forces are operating on the front lines, beyond borders, and in distant ranges at the same time. In a short time span, we attacked a Houthi target in Yemen, struck in Beirut and eliminated a top military commander of Hezbollah, and attacked in Syria. And the while, we continue an intense war in Gaza and Lebanon. These challenges are complex and demand our full attention. Our greatest power lies in our people, our brave soldiers, and our military, and also with the support of the Jews worldwide. For 73 years, Israel Bonds has been vital in building our nation. Your support of over $52 billion from all over the world has been crucial for building up the state of Israel in all areas, especially during difficult times. I have seen recent events firsthand. I can tell you that our people are strong. We are a country full of young, wonderful, innovative, and creative people. Despite these past years' hardships, Israelis remain hopeful. To everyone who stands with us, Israel must improve its capabilities to face existential challenges in the coming years. To achieve this, we must boost our economy, bolster our self-reliance, accelerate our building of our power, and expand our blue and white production capacity in Israel. We will invest heavily in our defense industries to greatly increase their production and are opening a new local production lines to expand our capabilities. We will redouble our efforts in research and development with the significant focus on AI to uphold our leadership in technological innovation that keep our nation secure. Your support empowers our defense forces and brings hope to all Israelis. You send a clear message. We are in this together. Remember, our unity is our greatest asset. Let us all pray for the quick release of our hostages, for the recovery of our wounded, and for victory over our enemies. Thank you, our dear friend, for your ongoing support. I wish you all a Shana Tova, Am Israel Chai. Thank you.
True heroism often comes from ordinary people who in times of crisis find the courage to stand tall. Today we reflect not only on the pain and the loss, but on the incredible strength and spirit of those who rose to meet the challenge. We're honored to be joined by the talented group Hatikva Shesh, whose song Superheroes, Giborei Al, is a tribute to those who protect, defend, and support, reminding us that the greatest heroes are sometimes the ones we least expect. Let's take a listen.
אז המורה לתנ"ך בגבעתי, המורה ללשון מודיעין, השכן מלמעלה קבלן עבודות, אבל חודש כבר במילואים. עורכת הדין היא קמבצית, עושה משמרות באוגדה. אחיה איש הייטק בכיר, עכשיו הוא צלף על גגות ברצועה. מנהלת הסניף הקשוחה של הבנק, היא סמג"ד ביהודה ושומרון. דורון הוא בעל חנות צעצועים, עכשיו הוא מ"פ בשריון. והמדי שלנו כפרה, שלרוב מזמר בקיסריה. הוא לוחם הנדסה, מתאושש בגבורה, אחרי שנפצע בלב עזה. נכון כולם נראים רגילים, אבל אנחנו עם של גיבורי על. וכל אחד תמיד מסתתר חייל, מוכן להציל את העולם. יש תנהג אוטובוס של דן, זה שתמיד עומד בזמן. הוא עכשיו מפקד סוללת תותחנים בדרום, ליד נרעם. יש סטודנט בטכניון, באמצע תואר ראשון. הוא סרן במיל בעוצבת הגליל, כבר חודש בגבול הצפון. יש פה דוגמנית פרמדיקית, יש פה חשמלאי שהוא מגיסט. יש את יוני נגן סקסופון מחונן, שהוא קודם כל מטקליסט. יש לכולם ארוני סטאר, או ארגז גדול מאובזר. יש פה סט של מדים וגלימת מילואים, מוכנות תמיד לאתגר. נכון כולם נראים רגילים, אבל אנחנו עם של גיבורי על. בכל אחד תמיד מסתתר חייל, מוכן להציל את העולם. וזה לא משנה אם באמצע חיים או באמצע משחק כדורגל, כולם יעזבו את הכל בשנייה אם יקרא להם הדגל. פה זה לא יקום מקביל, לא מציאות של מרוול. זה הסיפור שלנו, עם ישראל. זה הסיפור שלנו. נכון כולם נראים רגילים, אבל אנחנו עם של גיבורי על. וכל אחד תמיד מסתתר חייל, מוכן מוכן להציל את העולם.
Please join me in welcoming Hatikva Shesh singer and guitarist Omri Glickman. Omri, thank you so much for being with us today.
Thank you for having me.
Omri, many ordinary people have been called heroes over the past year, from soldiers to civilians. Are there any specific stories that you've encountered or individuals who you've met that inspired you while you created this song?
We met so many amazing people all over the country since day one of the war. Our band starting like a war tour every day. We found ourselves in different places all over the country, mostly in bases, military bases, in the field, performing for the soldiers before entering Gaza, getting out of Gaza. And I met great warriors, great stories of war. And I can say that I got my confidence back by hearing those great stories of the commanders and the warriors in the fields. And I found true belief that we're in good hands. And I can see the leadership future coming from there, from the IDF, from the commanders, from the great warriors who really fought for our homeland. And that's where I got my strength back. I wanted more to meet them, to hear from them, and to sing for them. And that's, I think, where is the great and amazing strength of Israel.
Was there a specific individual that really their story resounded with you?
So many. But I think the unbelievable story of Idan Amedi, which is a colleague from the musical journey. He's an Israeli singer, a popular Israeli singer. And since the day started, he just left his life aside and went to the battlefield and got injured very hardly. And this is the Israeli story. People who, on the day of the command, they put their life on the side and they go protect their families, the people, our nation. And this is a great inspiration for me. And we had to put Idan Amedi's story in the song Superheroes because he's a superhero.
Absolutely. What have you learned over the past year about Israeli society, about their strength and resilience?
I think that we proved ourselves that our togetherness and solidarity and unity is a superpower that we need to fight for and we need to keep after a tough year before the war, where the people were divided, and it was a really tough year for us for the Israeli nation. And I think we proved ourselves that during hard times and war, we can find the strength to be together and to help one another. We are brothers and sisters. We'll be staying here for a long time. There's a light at the end of the tunnel, and we need to stay together. Whatever our ideas are, ideologies, we need to put aside and really fight for this togetherness, because this is the real superpower.
Absolutely. Stay together and stay united. Music has the power to heal and to inspire. We know that. Looking back at the past year, how do you see your role as a musician, you and your colleagues? How do you see that role in the moments of a national crisis?
I found out since day one of the war that music is really needed. The upliftment of the people, the soldiers, the people who got evacuated from their homes, memorial ceremonies. We found ourselves in every spot, like songs were needed. And we took this job very seriously. Like every day we booked ourselves 1, 2, 3 stations. If it was in every area in Israel, we went, whoever in the band was free, joined up, and we performed guitars with any instrument we had available, we were there. And we felt a part. That's the only thing that we know, to play music, to sing. And we felt needed, so we took this like very, very seriously. And we wanted to be part in every place we were called to.
This has certainly been a special year, a challenging year, but like you say, also a year of a lot of togetherness, of musical healing, if we speak about your area of expertise. And I hope that you continue to do a lot of good the way you have.
Thank you so much.
Thank you so much, Aubrey, for sharing your insights with us today.
Thank you.
We have two very special guests with us today. Staff Sergeant Tomer Yaakov Achimas was a signal soldier for the Gaza Division's Southern Brigade Chief from Lehavim. Staff Sergeant Achimas, a 20-year-old hero, was killed fighting Hamas on October 7th at Kibbutz Nirim. His body was taken captive and later recovered from Gaza by the IDF. Tomer fought alongside Sergeant Kirill Brodsky and their brigade chief, Colonel Asaf Hamami, the commander of the Southern Brigade in the Gaza Strip. Residents of Kibbutz Nirim said that were it not for the bravery of Achimas, Hamami and Brodsky, the kibbutz would have absorbed an even greater tragedy than it did that Saturday. His father, Moshe Achimas, and his brother, Amir Achimas, are here with us today to tell his story. Moshe and Amir, I know this day is incredibly difficult for you. Thank you for being here and sharing Tomer's story with us.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Can you tell us a little bit about Tomer as a person? What was he like growing up, and what were some of the qualities that made him unique?
Tomer, born in Lehavim. We grew up in Lehavim. That's a small town near Beersheba in the south of Israel. We grew up, I say we because we were together and everything. I'm Amir's twin brother. We grew up with another three brothers and sisters, Eyal, Maya, and Gil, and our mother and father, Moshe and Danat. Tomer was a normal kid. He grew up, loved sport, every kind of sports, especially football, and basketball also, tennis. We played tennis for 5 years, and boxing, MMA, everything that have a little bit of competition in it. Mm-hmm. And he was a loved boy. Everybody liked him. He was a bit messy, you know. He loved to get in trouble sometimes, but he always got out of it with a smile. He was a smiley boy, always smiled. We were fighting a lot, me and him, but we loved each other. We didn't show it to each other because, you know, like, that's brothers. We fight, but that's our love language. And he really loved music, always in the car when we were driving together, always his music. He loved rap, pop, everything. Tomer had a girlfriend. Her name is Shaili. They were together for like 9 months until the war. We were doing everything together. The really first time that we were separated was when we joined the army. Me and him, we took different paths. He went to his unit and I went to mine. But that didn't really separate us, you know. When we were on weekends, in home, we always talk. When he was on the base and I was at home, we would talk on the phone. How is it? How is the Saturday? We're always speaking, and that's it.
He sounds wonderful.
He was a really brilliant kid, very smart. He did his major in physics and mathematics. Although he didn't pay too much effort in studying, still he got great grades. In one hand, he was easygoing, but in the other hand, he was a very stubborn kid. Mm. Charmer, in one word, a charmer.
A charmer, wow. Moshe, on October 7th, Tomer demonstrated incredible bravery during the battle near Kibbutz Nirim. He was described as a hero by many. What does being a hero mean to you, and how do you hope that people will remember his legacy?
Maybe let's take a few steps back, describe what happened, really happened there. So, the intimate squad of Colonel Asaf Hamami that comprised Tomer and Kirill and Asaf itself jumped on the jeep early morning of this cursed Sabbath, 6:30, heading to Kibbutz Nirim. Why Kibbutz Nirim? Because the first alarm that they got from the fence, the electronic fence, was that there is a suspicion for penetration in this area. So they were heading to Nirim. It takes about 15 minutes. So they left their base at 6:30, early morning, heading to Nirim. When they reached Nirim, they got into a crossfire. Makes sense to get fire from Gaza Strip, yeah? But to get into a fire coming from Kibbutz Nirim doesn't make sense. But Asaf immediately realized that terrorists already penetrate the kibbutz. So he took a decision to get into the kibbutz and to confront these terrorists. They drove into the kibbutz, and there were only three fighters, and they actually got into a face-to-face battle, based on the information we got from the IDF, between 60 to 80 terrorists.
Wow.
Yeah. The battle lasted about 15 minutes, face-to-face. Asaf, Colonel Asaf, was injured first. And Tomer and Kirill, both of them, continued to fight face-to-face. And in between trying to provide medical treatment to their colonel, and also calling in the radio for help, for someone, but nobody came. They were alone. At 7:05, Tomer's voice was silent. The three bodies were kidnapped to the Gaza Strip. Going back to your question, what does it mean to be a hero? And the three heroes actually demonstrate a very noble values that we as a society must follow and adapt. Friendship, brotherhood, consistency, and willing to sacrifice your life in order to save innocence. This is bravery. I'm proud of him. He did his utmost in order to save life, and he did. He did.
He saved many lives.
Saved many lives.
Very powerful.
I want to show you something, if it's okay.
Yeah.
Okay, this is a shield that the community of Nirim gave us. It's written here in Hebrew. Yeah. The shield of Nirim for the bravery of Sergeant Tomer Achimas for protecting our community. Yeah.
Very powerful. Now, it must have been incredibly difficult waiting for news after his body was taken to Gaza. What helped you and your family get through that painful time of uncertainty?
It was really difficult. Only 2 days after this battle, we were informed by the IDF that Tomer is kidnapped. There was, frankly speaking, a big relief because they didn't say he was killed. Yeah, so there was a hope that he's somewhere, someone is taking care of him, and eventually he will come back to us. After almost 2 months, then official came again with a notice that informing us that Tomer actually fell in the battle on this specific morning, and his body is captured by the terrorists in Gaza Strip. So the hope gone. Yeah, it was very difficult. In particular because we had to conduct a funeral without a body, because all the indication that we received based on the Jewish religion is dead and he must be buried, but there is no body to bury. So we had to bury a pile of soil from Kibbutz Nirim, from the scene where he fell and conducted his battle. And it was like a big hole in the heart.
Of course.
Hoping that his body will come back to us. Luckily, 1 month after his birthday, the IDF, with a heroic operation, recovered his body from the tunnels of Khan Yunis. His body and his brother-in-arm, Kirill, both of them were rescued. Unfortunately, Colonel Asaf is still there. Hopefully, we'll come back soon.
God willing.
So, yeah, it wasn't easy. So we had to conduct 2 funerals. So when his body came back, we had another funeral. If in the first funeral we had a very little hope that maybe it's just a nightmare, we'll come back because there is no body. Second time it was final. But it was also a relief because he's with us.
Thank you very much to the both of you. His memory will live on with us as a constant reminder that this can never happen again. Thank you so much, and we will indeed try to go with our truth.
Thank you very much.
Thank you.
Israelis have not faced this last year alone. The global Jewish community has stepped up to the plate, taking responsibility for their brothers and sisters in Israel. In an inspiring display of unity despite borders and time zones, the diaspora has proven that they remain closer to their roots than ever before. Joining us now in the studio with ILTV anchor Lidar Gravelazi are 2 such leaders who have spent the last 12 months tirelessly galvanizing the efforts of American Jews.
Please welcome Dr. Andrew Hutter, National and International Chairman of the Board of Directors, and Larry Olschwanger, National Campaign Advisory Council Chair. Andrew and Larry, thank you so much for joining us today.
Thank you for having us. Our pleasure.
So, Andrew, we'll start with you. You know, you wake up on Shabbat morning, it's Simchat Torah, you see the news. Walk us through that morning for you as a Jewish person in the diaspora.
I was getting ready to go to shul. Texts come through the phone. It was like, what's going on? I was actually going to shul and getting ready, coming home and relaxing, and I was scheduled to leave for 2 Israel bond missions a few days later. So I hurried up, got to shul. Our rabbi was outside actually with our security guard, who was not Jewish, so the security guard was monitoring things on the news for us. And we were in shul basically in shock, but I was glad I was in shul. I was around friends, family, our rabbi, and I think we needed to be together. It's something that I never expected that I would have to live through anything like this, and it was shocking.
And Larry, same question to you. I mean, what went through your mind on that Saturday morning?
Well, it was almost a disbelief these events could actually be taking place. Had a feeling of sadness for sure, almost helpless watching the events unfold. I called a dear friend of mine in Israel who's connected, and he told me, Larry, that it's going to be much worse than what we see on TV. So I knew the news would get worse as the days came on. But at the same time, I felt, a sense of pride knowing that our beloved Israel can defend herself, and that many of us in the diaspora and leadership roles can help come to aid in her support. So I knew my work in pro-Israel activism, especially Israel Bonds, was really going to be a critical role going forward, and that we really needed to do all we could to help for the state of Israel.
And Larry, I want to ask, how did October 7th shape your personal advocacy and drive your efforts within Israel Bonds, especially considering the rise in global anti-Semitism since then?
Well, again, what we need to try to do in our communities, from our national campaign perspective, are be ambassadors in our communities throughout the diaspora. And we want to educate, like I said, people and let them become role models and leaders in their communities to share the truth and the stories of what's happening and to fight against this anti-Semitism, support Israel through all these tangible actions that we can do and our role that we have involved with Israel Bonds. So to me, it re-energized me. Our mission's clear, and the impacts that we've had on the state of Israel and the people are truly appreciated. We saw it firsthand when we were there.
And Andrew, turning to you, what do you think are the most effective initiatives to further strengthen the connections between Israel and the Jewish diaspora?
I think with all the negativity out there and the anti-Semitism, making a positive statement. Go online, make positive statements about Israel, show the support for the state of Israel. Thank you.
All right, Andrew, Larry, thank you so much for taking the time to speak with us today. And thank you for the important work that you're doing on behalf of the state of Israel and the Jewish diaspora. Thank you.
Thank you both. Your Israel advocacy work within your communities has been a vital and meaningful lifeline for the people of Israel and provided great encouragement and support that were so much needed. This has been an intense hour filled with the weight of our shared pain and the strength of our unwavering spirit. The bond between Israel and the global Jewish community is what keeps us moving forward and gives us hope, even in the face of unimaginable challenges. Today, you've heard the stories of some of the most heroic members of our Jewish and Israeli family. Now, bringing our special memorial event to the close is a prayer for the state of Israel, recited by Moshe Achimas. Thank you for joining us.
אבינו שבשמיים, צור ישראל וגואלו, ברך את מדינת ישראל, ראשית צמיחת גאולתנו, הגן עליה בעברת חסדך, ופרוס עליה סוכת שלומך, שלח אורך ועמיתך לראשיה, שריה ויועציה, ותקנם בעצה טובה מלפניך, חזק את ידי מגיני ארץ קודשנו, והנחילם אלוהינו ישועה, ועטרת ניצחון תיאטרם, ונתת שלום בארץ, ושמחת עולם ליושביה. את אחינו כל בית ישראל, פקדנה בכל ארצות בזוריהם, ותוליכם מהרה קוממיות לציון עריך, ולירושלים משכן שמך, ככתוב בתורת משה עבדיך, אם יהיה נידחך בקצה השמיים, משם יקבצך אדוני, אלוהיך, ומשם ייקחך ואביך אדוני אלוהיך, אל הארץ אשר ירשו אבותיך, וירשת ויטבך וירבך מאבותיך. ויחד לבבנו לאהבה וליראה את שמך, ולשמור את כל דברי תורתך, ושלח לנו מהרה בן דוד משיח צדקך, לפדות מחכה קץ ישועתך. הופע בהדר גאון עוזך על כל יושבי תבל ארצך, ויאמר כל אשר נשמה באפו, אדוני אלוהי ישראל מלך, ומלכותו בכל משלה. אמן סלע.